Here we go, we're on Fish Dock Road. Look at that nice building. Sadly, that one's boarded up.
Transition of Grimsby is it's gone from being a major fishing port, the world's biggest fishing port, with something like 600 trawlers based in Grimsby, to now no whitefish trawlers landed in Grimsby.
It's a museum now, isn't it?
It's a museum.
Like everything else.
Yeah.
We need work, mate.
Well,
not museums.
I think one of the rare pleasures in life is stepping into a world that you know absolutely nothing about and just watching it operate.
Yeah, we have a great affinity with miners and that, obviously, because it's a similar sort of result.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we've been stuffed.
Hung my sea boots up.
Hung your sea boots up. Do you miss it?
Yeah.
Do you?
Every day.
Every day. Welcome to Grimsby, and to a video that I've wanted to make for a long time now, because as you know, I love going in search of lost industry on this channel. And I've covered a lot of the country looking at so many different aspects of that. However, I have never looked into the fishing industry. I did a video on fish and chips, but that's sort of a product of the backbreaking work that was the fishing industry. So I thought I'd head here to Grimsby, which once was the busiest dock in the world. And I thought I'd go explore, see what remains, and kind of just go on the hunt for this industry that I've never covered before. So I have brought this book with me, Out of Grimsby by Alf May. Now, this book documents 3 generations of fishermen from the end of the 1800s going into the 1900s over a 50-year span. And I'm just going to read this first bit. There were few harder, more uncomfortable or dangerous jobs than that of a seagoing fisherman. The nearest comparison would be that to a miner toiling in the bowels of the earth, but at least the miner would sleep in a comfortable and motionless bed at night. The fisherman lived for 24 hours a day on his smack, heaving and tossing in all weathers, and on the rare chance for a lie down, it would be on a mattress filled with straw. And as he says in that, the comparison to the miners, that incredibly hard industry that I've covered loads. I come from generation after generation of miners, so I know that industry, but I don't know the fishing industry. And the difference between the two, the mining industry in this country and in Britain, which we completely eradicated, we got rid of, it's gone. Those towns that were famous for that don't have anything remaining aside from little dribs of history. But the fishing industry does still continue here in Grimsby. It might not be what it once was. I feel like what happens a lot of the time with Grimsby is it just gets the negative portrayal. And sure, it definitely has struggling aspects to it. I've seen videos on that, but mainly the kind of Sacha Baron Cohen, the Brothers Grimsby film that he put out, this kind of demonisation of, or like humiliation of the northern working class and the industries that surround that. So I want to kind of do the opposite today. I won't ignore stuff if I come across it, but I also want to celebrate it. And look already, Goodwins of Grimsby, wholesale fish merchants. Check it out. Already, and you can see the ice in there. Oh, yeah, look at this. Big box of ice where the fish would have been stored, maybe even recently. And the thing that you cannot ignore is the smell of the fish. And I think there's some there. I wonder if I might ask this guy, excuse me, mate, I'm making a video about the fishing industry. Do you mind if I just film some of your fish?
Oh yeah, it's awful anyway.
Oh, what is it?
Awful, like all the offcuts.
Oh, that's all the offcuts?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
So we cut the fillets off the...
Oh, no way.
Yeah, and then these are cod heads here. We cut the
Oh, wow. And what happens to all this stuff now then?
I think they send it off to grind it down into like, get the word, like stock and...
Oh, stock, yeah. Oh, wow. And when would these fish have been caught then? Do you know when these had come in?
Probably last week.
Last week?
Got them this morning, and they were landed this morning on the market.
Really?
Filleted these today,
Hey, do you like working in the fishing industry then?
Yeah, I fell into it. I went to uni and then finished. Didn't really know what to do. My dad had a job going, so it's good. I enjoy it.
Yeah. Lots of other fishing around here as well. Will I come across a lot more, do you reckon?
This is we're the only one on this street, and a lot of them have moved over there to the north.
Can you get over there as well? Can you walk down? Oh, nice. Oh, good man. Thank you so much. Yeah, cheers. So, how about that? Straight off the bat, managed to find, well, the smell got me. I could smell fish in the air, and I was like, if I follow that fish, I'm definitely going to come across something. So there looks like a few here that, yeah, maybe these ones have shut down. But as we say, like, I only expected to find less than there once was. This once was the ruler of the seas. This place once had so much, and it's great to find stuff that is going on, but I'm sure there will be elements of how the decline did hit in. with the fishing industry. Hey up mate, you all right? Yeah, so another one there. Looks maybe a bit beyond its days, and look at this up here as well. Looks like a chimney. It can't be a chimney. Grimsby Dual Dock Tower, standing 94 metres. What is it? So that thing up there, that thing that looks like a nice mill chimney, so that's used as some sort of hydraulic press for some machinery to do with the docks. As if this is mad. So when I was in Darwin, I visited India Mill, which had been based on the I think it was the St. Mark's Bell Tower in Venice, and built in the 1860s that was. This, built in the 1850s, and I've just gone online, and it was based on the appearance of Torre del Mangia on the Plaza Publico in Siena. Where the heck's Siena? I don't even know where that is. Spain? Italy, Siena is Italy. And right, look here we go, Grimsby Fish Market. I'm really hoping that maybe tomorrow morning I can get down here and we can get into the fish market. Here we go, we're on Fish Dock Road. Look at that nice building. Sadly, that one's boarded up. What's that? Mutual Insurance and Protecting. Look at this, welcome to Grimsby Dock. And another one here, Alfred Endley, Specialist Fish Smokers. Might try get an interview, see if they're up for an interview.
So this is a traditional smokehouse.
Wow.
Yeah, and curing fish back in the day, pre-refrigeration, pre-freezing, was the only way to extend the shelf life.
Right, yeah.
So that in Grimsby there would be 90 of these smokehouses back in the 1930s.
Wow.
So today there are just a handful of traditional smokehouses like this one.
No way.
And this is over 100 years old. We've been doing it in the same way as it's always been done.
Yeah, yeah.
It's been never done anything differently. So this is Icelandic haddock. You can tell it's Icelandic because it's got this pinkish look to it. Yeah, and that's the best haddock there is.
Wow.
Haddock lives in deep cold water, so it lives in the northeast Atlantic.
Yeah, yeah.
And when Grimsby was the largest fishing port in the whole world, many of those trawlers were steaming all the way up to the northeast Atlantic and catching fish up there, bringing it all the way back to Grimsby. We will put it inside the houses.
Wow.
And we'll take a look upstairs at these houses.
Yeah,
it's slightly more interesting. But we'll pass all these up. So somebody will climb in the house from the top down.
No way.
Somebody from the bottom up, and we'll pass these rails up in the house, and we'll hang the houses.
No way.
So we'll do that about 1:30ish, 2ish. That's what we light it with.
Yeah, yeah.
Once we've laid the dust into the bottom of the pit, we'll light it this afternoon, and it will stay alight until tomorrow morning, and that'll stay in for 16 hours smoking. You can see that's the buildup of tar from over 100 years of smoking.
So that's build-up tar for over 100 years?
That door is over 100 years old.
That is awesome.
The flavour that we're picking up from the fabric of the building is important.
Yeah.
And you can't get this in a modern smoking environment.
Yeah. How about that? We are on an absolute successful mission this day, trying to find the fishing history, because I've already come across so much of it, and what an amazing place that place. I've just got to give them an absolute quality shout out for that. Alfred Enderby Fisheries. I'm going to link them all below. Definitely check them out if you want to get some delicious fish. I feel like this video is going to be a good one, guys. Some days I go out and things just pop out to me, and it seems like this is one of those videos. So a huge thing that happened with the fishing industry, and a huge change that happened. There were two that really changed it all, but one of them was the ability to make man-made ice. Now look at this. This is talking about back in the day you'd have to order in the pure block ice from places like Norway. But yeah, when you got that ability to make ice, you could make it yourself. This just meant that you could really spend longer out at sea. You could spend so much more time fishing, trying to get stuff and bring it back. But that's so cool that I've come across that. I love it. The history is ace. Tell you what, while we're walking down to the other side of the docks, let's read another little bit from Alf Mays out of Grimsby. So obviously those out at sea, God, think how scary that'd be. But also think of those back at home worrying about the people who were out at sea. There was no forms of communication back in the 1800s. Fishermen's wives always lived in fear for their menfolk, although they tried to suppress it. However, during the lonely nights, either alone or with a youngster to comfort, and listening to the wind howling through the chimney pots, it was hard for them not to think of the awful pounding that all seafarers were being subjected to when the cruel sea was in a savage mood. That smell of fish. I really hope at some point on this video I manage to get onto a fishing boat, have a look round. That'd be so much fun. Look at this, this looks like some big old part of the fishing. What did it say on top? 1894. This was, I wonder what this was here. On here you might be able to see into this old building. What was this? Hi. How long do you spend at sea then when you're away? 5 days. 5 days. Do you have fun?
Yeah.
Do you spend more time on land or sea? Land. Oh, good. Wow, thank you guys. Have a good trip. Awesome. So, I don't think I'll be able to get on one, but these great people from the buylobstercrab.com have said I can film all of the boats. So, just from here, I'm not allowed on them, but imagine going away, spending days at sea on one of these, standing out there in the middle of the freezing oceans, waiting for your catch, and all this old equipment and stuff. I don't know what you call these. Catchers. Look at that amount of buckets. That is solid. I guess when you're out at sea, one thing that's very important is putting things in buckets. Look at that as well. So straight off the boat, that smell of fish. Freshly frozen, probably ready to be stored for a bit longer. YouTube? YouTube, yeah, check me out, Wandering Turnip. Wandering Turnip. I've got a much easier job than you guys. So there we go. Bunch of guys about to go back out on a 5-day ship to sea. And I mean, it's bonkers, isn't it? Like, even that, like, I know we've got all the modern advancements in technology. That looks terrifying. 5 days out at sea on that, and they're just like, yeah, we'll do it. But in the book, Alf talks about how the happiest days were when steam was introduced to the ships. And he says this: the successful introduction of steam heralded some of the best and happiest years of his life. Only the toll of the ogre sea occasionally interrupted his blissful life, and any lives or trawlers lost reminded the community of the dangers daily threatening the crews, bringing tremors of silent fear for all men. Wow. Tremors of silent fear for all men. God, I mean, there is just something looking at those boats as they're loading up, getting ready to head out on a 5-day adventure out to sea, although it's not an adventure for them, it's the way they bring in money. Right, I think what we need to do now is, because we've explored these docks massively, what I'm going to do is let's head into Grimsby now. Let's head to the centre of Grimsby, see what we find. Here you're seeing a bit of the effects of things shutting down, lots of stuff closed. Let's see if we can find Freeman Street. Hey, I might be looking for something that I'm actually on. 49 Freeman Street. Maybe this is Freeman Street. No way. Here we go. 49 Freeman Street, yeah. This is it. So this is the street where, back when the fishing industry was so prosperous here, everyone who'd been working on the boats would get off, and for the 3 days that they had on land, they'd come here with all their money and just go wild, spend it in all the pubs. Apparently what they used to do is, because they had so much money at the time, they'd just leave the taxis running outside the pub, go in, drink a pint, then drive to the next one, drink another pint. There was serious money to be had here back in the day. And this was the heart of it, Freeman Street, where all that happened. So there obviously are areas here where it is really struggling. You can see the majority of stuff boarded up. So all those shut down shops, boarded up shops, shops to let. I'm glad I started down by the docks down there and saw all the industry, the stuff that is there, the capability for this place, the workforce that could exist if things were managed properly, if we and made slightly different decisions in this country at certain times. But yeah, some places I go, you've got to imagine the really remote towns, stuck in valleys, places where the mining community shut down and it completely disappeared, all the work went. Well, that's not happening with Grimsby. Clearly, there is still a lot of work going on, and it's just figuring it out, isn't it? It's doing it in the right way, and this is cool. Statue here of a fisherman. Wow, this is powerful down here as well. It says, "I cannot bend beside his grave, for he sleeps in a secret sea, and not one gentle whispering wave will tell the place to me. But though unseen by human eyes, and mortals know it not, his Father knoweth where he lies, and angels guard the spot." Wow, powerful. Yeah, really hammering home just how dangerous that career was. Good morning, guys. Welcome to incredibly early Grimsby. It was a 5 a.m. start for me this morning because, well, this is the time if you want to get down to see the docks in action, if you want to see the fish market come alive, where the auction starts, this is the time you've got to get up. Right, so I've found the entrance to the fish market and there's this hive of activity all around me. Forklift trucks delivering fish, so I'm so excited to get in. Trucks delivering loads of fish. And it's saying you need to wear PPE, so I'm hoping that soon I'll be able to get in some of that PPE that you need to wear and we can get into the market. Check it out. We are ready, we are PPE ready to hit up the fish market.
This is the fish auction, and this will, believe it or not, in the next 4 or 5 minutes, this will fill up with people.
Wow.
So there'll be a lot of people. Everything's done on a shout auction basis. The method of selling is the same now as it was 60, 70 years ago. And the sales are done with a book and a pencil. And all of the buyers on here are all registered. So they use tallies. They have paper tallies, which are things like this. They just put on, they'll just flick on the fish.
No way.
So it's a very antiquated system, an old-fashioned system, but it works entirely well.
It's the one that works,
It's
wow.
the one that works. So that's how we operate. All the fish is weighed into 50-kilo boxes. This morning we've got about 2,200 boxes. Every single one of them has been graded. So we've got different sizes. So you can see on here, all of these fish, that's the graded, that's the 501 to 650. Again, when you go to a fish and chip shop, the fish is all the same size. How do they get it like that? Because they buy it at a place like this,
right,
where all the boxes, it's already been graded. So the filleters can fill it up straight away.
Yeah, yeah.
All of this fish, and every bit of fish you can see, is imported. So all the fresh fish that's for sale now, all these haddock and there's some cod on the top, is all Icelandic fish.
Yeah.
It all arrived in containers and unloaded this morning. This is fish that would have been caught last week in Iceland. They put it on a container ship. It comes into Immingham and it's brought by road from Immingham to Grimsby.
Yeah, yeah.
So what's changed with the transition of Grimsby is it's gone from being a major fishing port, the world's biggest fishing port, with something like 600 trawlers based in Grimsby, to now no whitefish trawlers landed in Grimsby, and it's all imported and it comes by road.
Yeah.
And the only fishing vessels we have are now shellfish boats. So we've got around about a dozen boats left fishing, but they're shell fishing, so that's crabs, lobsters, whelks, that sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
But the thing is now, based on some of the European regulations that were brought in back in the late 90s, early 2000s, everything's behind closed doors and inside. So like we've got the chillers on with ice on everything, that the standards are much higher and much better. But what it means is that nobody sees it. So it's not a visual thing anymore. So the perception about the fish industry is there isn't one.
Yeah.
But in reality, you would never see, unless you would have rung up, you never would have seen this.
Yeah, absolutely.
And never would have appreciated that it went on.
Yeah, no, that's it. Wow,
So
yeah.
you pick up the sales.
Yeah.
You won't work out who's bid.
Yeah, yeah.
Because that's, again, it's a bit of a dark art.
Right, yeah.
But nevertheless, it's an interesting thing, a phenomenon to see.
Yeah.
It's an actual shout auction, and there's very few of these in the country left.
Wow, I'm so excited. So guys, here we are in the fish auction. And it's getting busy now. What's the time? Yeah, it'll start any minute now. I'm well excited. A traditional shout auction. Oh,
That's the
yeah.
sales. Black book in hand.
350, 60, 70. Mr. Aaron. In the one with those then, gents. Yeah, £3, 5, 10, 15, nothing wants anything. Now then, 35, 40, 30.
It comes down to these tiny little nods of the head. Barely even a wink sometimes. And that's how they're bidding. It's mad watching it. I cannot see who it's going to, and yet it moves that fast and people are buying it.
Right, Collins, now then, who we got in change? 2 by 50, 1 by 39. 90, 80 there. 95, 290, 285. 410, £4 a kilo. £4.
The closer I stand to the actual auction happening, the more I just realise I don't understand it at all. I kind of just feel in the way. It moves in such its own way. It's like an ecosystem, and I'm this entity that shouldn't be here, but I am. It's well fun.
41 by 50, 1 by 43 there then. 210, 15, 20, 25, 25, 30, 30, 30, 230, 225.
They're all making sense, David.
No, not at all. It's so quick.
The thing is, as you go around, you see, you don't see anybody. So you'd come here, you'd never know.
Yeah.
And what happened was in the old days, everybody remembers the pontoon because it was outside. So the fish auction was effectively outside, and all the fish processors were outside.
Yeah.
And it was just under, it's like an open-sided shed, the pontoon, and it stretched for 2 miles.
Yeah.
It was a big thing, and all the boats moored up and all that. But so people would go down, and I know when I was a kid, and my dad was a fish merchant, so I'd come down and go and have a look at the boats. You could see it was a visual thing.
Yeah.
Now, because people come down and go on the docks, plus the security, and as you know, they don't like people coming on anyway.
Yeah.
So generally, people don't come down.
Yeah.
So there's this perception, and it's an illusion that there is no fish. Yet there's all these people employ people.
Yeah, exactly. It's
So
industry, isn't
the
it?
backdrop to this is probably 2,500 people working.
Yeah. I think one of the rare pleasures in life is stepping into a world that you know absolutely nothing about and just watching it operate. And this has got to be up there with one of the best things I've ever seen. The traditional shout auction. Already, all that side has been sold. You see these guys now taking it out, loading it up onto their trucks outside. That'll be off delivering to shops straight away. And this side as well, moving down. I kid you not, we've been here about half an hour. It moves so fast. It is so fascinating to see. I absolutely love it.
Grimsby's got a great history and tradition, but it's also got a great future.
Yeah.
There's lots and lots of opportunity. And it's just trying to convince people, because this type of work is not everybody's cup of tea.
No.
You know, it's an ageing population.
Yeah.
There's no young people working on this job.
Well, there's a young lad doing the calling on the first one, actually.
He's the youngest, Will.
Yeah.
Selling the fish.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he was like our apprentice. We took, and on that basis, he works for us selling fish.
Yeah.
And that was part of the plan, the succession. We had to get somebody in younger. It's a price-making market. It's a very important thing, the auction. That determines the price of fish on that day.
Right, yeah.
So on any one day, what's the price of fish? Well, the only way to find out is to have a true auction like this. This is a proper shout auction. No prices are set. It makes what it makes.
Right, okay, yeah.
It's interesting. It makes it an interesting job. And it's again, the big thing with this is it's a people job. It's all about people and coming down.
230 a kilo, 230. 18 and a penny.
Something I'm always interested in about the fishing industry. What are your thoughts on Brexit, if you've got any, or if you're willing to give any? Do you notice a bit of change? No.
Well, there's no change because, as you've just seen, it's predominantly Icelandic fish.
Right. Okay.
So
Yeah.
Iceland's not in the EU.
Right. Yeah.
So we didn't change anything. But the prospect of change, and people were promising more fishing. There was particularly some people, politicians, suggesting that we were going to get fishing back, and in actual fact, it's interesting because the fish industry does carry a lot of weight for the public.
Yeah.
There's a lot of support for fishing and fishermen, and it's interesting that the value of the fish industry to the UK economy is something like 0.01%. So absolutely minimal.
Yeah.
But in terms of value for emotion,
Yeah.
it's right up there with just behind doctors, nurses, firemen, police. People carry a lot of support.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So when it came to the argument and about fishing, there was too much rhetoric about saying, "Oh, we're going to get fishing back." It's such a complex mix of organisations and facilities and services and vessels and catching and quotas and everything else that there was no simple answer. And coming out of Brexit was never going to make anything better.
New normal, I guess.
Did we benefit from it? Not at all. Did I expect us to? Not at all.
Well, good answer. How amazing was that. Incredible, genuinely incredible. So fascinating just to see it all happening so quickly. That kind of world that is behind doors that you just probably go through life knowing nothing about and will never see. And I just got to see it up close and personal with my eyes and my nose because of the unbelievable smells. I've just met you. I thought you were coming off a fishing boat, but no, you've been out at sea, but for a different reason.
That's right, yeah.
So you're out on the wind farms, is it?
Yeah, so we've been out to Hornsea 1 offshore wind farm today. We sailed out about 6 o'clock this morning, but we've headed back early due to weather. So
how far away is it?
Well, so we've been to the RCS, which is halfway between the actual field, where the turbines are, and the coast.
Okay.
So the Hornsea 1 wind farms, I think it's about 70 miles off the coast.
And what's it like on board? Have you got like...
Yeah, it's not too bad, it's alright, it's TVs and that. I mean, everyone today had their head down because it was rough.
Oh, really?
It was bouncy out there, yeah.
Do you ever get used to that, or is that just something that sticks around?
You do, yeah. It depends, because because you can fly and sail in this line of work. If you've been flying a lot and not sailing so much, then the seasickness can creep back up on you. You know what I mean? Catch you by surprise.
Yeah.
So it gets you sometimes, but most of the time it's all right, to be honest with you. And like I say, there's limits. So you won't. If it's too rough, you won't sail.
Yeah.
But sometimes the weather catches you out.
And that's is that like the big industry now? Wind farms around here? Is that?
Oh, in Grimsby, in this area, it's massive.
Yeah.
There's wind farms popping up all over the place. Hornsea 3's soon to be built. So.
Oh, and is that bigger than the fishing industry now? Would you say?
For Grimsby, for sure.
Yeah.
I would say, yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So it wouldn't be a complete trip to Grimsby, searching out its lost fishing industry without heading to the Grimsby Fishing Heritage Centre. And I'm pretty sure they might have like an old smack that we can go on, which would be awesome. Grimsby Fishing Heritage Centre. So I thought it was that little smack inside that you could get the tour of. No, but it's this actual massive vessel outside which is on the water, which you can get a tour of.
We get working, can't we?
No, you can't.
It's a museum now, isn't it?
It's a museum.
Like everything else.
Yeah.
We need work, mate.
Well,
not museums. I'll get on that now and go fishing. I'll even skipper it for you. I'll break the main line.
Yeah, so that's the first bit of sort of resentment that I've seen from a young person on show towards what happened here in Grimsby. Like, the people want jobs, and it is such a sad thing to think that we have so much fish surrounding these waters and we can't go fishing. So that was interesting to see someone getting upset about that. So as much as I do want to go on that, I've just bumped into this guy, this fella. I stopped him and I was chatting. I said, "Oh, I'm making a video about Grimsby," and he went, "Oh, well, I'm an ex-fisherman. Meet me here and I'll go show you some stuff." So I think I'm going to do that instead, because I've really wanted to chat to an ex-fisherman. Maybe we'll come back there afterwards. Were you born in Grimsby then?
Yeah, born and bred.
What year?
1953.
1953, right, yeah. And worked on the boats all your life?
From 15-year-old till I was nearly 50, I was on boats.
Wow, 15 you started?
32 years.
No way.
I left Grimsby in 1988 after I lost a boat in Hurricane. And,
really?
I got a load of shite from them, and they said, "Just sign the dole." I said, "Well, you're going to get new boats and things like that out of me and my crew, risking our lives." They went, "Oh, go sign the dole." So I left Grimsby.
No way. Where'd you go?
I went to Cornwall.
All right,
for a few years. I was skipper out of Newlyn in Cornwall.
Wow. So where was the hurricane when you lost your boat?
In the North Sea,
Wow.
about 180 miles off.
God, that's terrifying.
60-foot boat.
Oh my God.
Saying it.
That's crazy.
The reason I fetched you down here, you see this building here?
Yeah.
Right, me and my friends were after turning this into a museum.
Oh really?
A maritime museum.
Oh, amazing.
It's a very substantial building, and we're in talks now about fundings, etc. And if we start off and we could do that, we can maybe bring some of these buildings back to life again.
Yeah.
327 days at sea altogether.
Wow.
That's going to sea, coming in, landing your fish, going back out again, doing that 3-4 times in a few days, having a day off or 2 days off, and then going back and doing the same.
Yeah.
So it finished up 327 days, exactly how it amounts out at sea.
That's crazy.
And then I got divorced. She couldn't handle it.
It's good. I mean, it's hard to handle that. Not around much.
I earned fantastic money.
Did you?
Doing that job, but what's money when you lose your family?
No, yeah, for sure.
It's like you being a mining chappie and all that, I know the importance of a chapel or
Yeah.
a church. Well, this is the same. But can you imagine what this was like in its heyday when it was first built?
Yeah, yeah.
Look at that.
It's crazy, isn't it? It's huge.
It is. We've just saved up to get these outside windows replaced. It's been vandalised.
Oh, right, yeah, yeah.
That's the outer protection. Sorry about that, eh?
Yeah.
All right, my love.
Oh, hey, thank you.
All of this town ties together.
Yeah.
Because somebody knows somebody, knows somebody,
Yeah.
knows somebody, knows a hidden gem, knows this, knows that. And we hold...
Look at this
and
place.
I would go out on a limb and say this, we hold the best acoustics in this town.
Wow, I was not expecting this. I mean, this is unbelievable, isn't it?
We've had some amazing people tread these boards.
Yeah.
The likes of Iron Maiden,
No way.
Def Leppard,
Wow.
Adam and the Ants, Slaughter and the Dogs.
Wow.
And then the most beautiful thing that we do have is the opportunity to then show them the Fisherman's Chapel.
Yeah.
So this is the Fisherman's Chapel. This is what was rededicated here in 1966.
Oh, wow.
And this in itself has got the most beautiful feel. And this is the bell from the Laforet.
That's a story on its own.
And it is. So it capsized and sank off the Norwegian coast in 1954. Nothing was left.
Wow.
Nothing was left. And it was many years later that divers went down and they saw something they weren't sure what it was. It was the bell from the Laforet.
Wow.
The whole crew was lost.
Wow.
On the Laforet. The youngest being 16. And a lady come along and I brought her in and she said, I'm looking for my great-great-grandfather. I've been looking for him for 20 years. I've been everywhere. I've been to the Tower Hill Monument. I have been all over the place. Turns out her great-grandfather's name was right here.
Wow.
She doesn't live that far away and she said, I can't believe it was under my nose all this
No
time.
way.
We don't want this to be a sad place, though.
No.
Because the fishermen and that was lost, if you could be in contact with them, they wouldn't want you to be sad. They'd want you to be happy and hear music and noise and things like that. This would be a connection, hopefully, to the other world.
So this is where you get together with all
This is
your...
where the old fishermen, dock workers and that come every Wednesday.
Yeah.
And have a couple of cups of coffee and talk. There's an old ship, look up there.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
that community is really strong with, still
that's
with...
what we call ourselves.
The Sea Dogs.
The old Sea Dogs.
The old Sea Dogs. I like it. Whenever I've done videos about the mining industry, I've always found like the community around the people who used to work down the pits, it's always been so strong. And when I've like got together with them and like chatted with them, it's been amazing. You see a real community that still exists. It was one of them jobs that I know people say it was hard work, but people in my family who did it missed it so much when it went. Like they missed the mines.
It's your life.
And it's
the way of life.
Yeah, it's the same with the fishing industry. It seems like community is so strong with people who did it. They understood it. They understood what it was about.
Yeah, we have a great affinity with miners and that, obviously, because it's a similar sort of result.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we've been stuffed by politics, etc.
Yeah.
Not for the lack of coal or fish. It's still there and it always will be. But the politics is just damaged so many people.
Yeah. Do you ever still go out on boats or anything? Nah.
I did also as 67 when I retired. I used to work with boats. I was a docker. But my fishing career finished when I was 50, just over 50.
Yeah.
Hung my sea boots up.
Hung your sea boots up. Do you miss it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every day.
Every day.
There you go then.
Right, yeah.
Where we started.
Oh, thank you so much.
See you
pleasure.
again, buddy.
Absolute pleasure, that. Yeah. So if you watch my channel, you might know that I did a video not long ago about fish and chips and how the price of fish and chips has gone absolutely crazy in the United Kingdom. And yeah, it was one of my, in fact it is my most watched video, so it must have been pretty good. But yeah, basically everyone was saying in that video, you've got to get to Grimsby and you've got to go to Matthew's Chippy because it's the cheapest in the United Kingdom apparently. Apparently the value for fish and chips here is just unbeatable. So I thought whilst I'm in Grimsby, whilst I'm doing a video about the history of fishing, I thought let's head to Matthew's Chippy and get some of the cheapest fish and chips on the market. What absolute legends at Matthew's Chippy. Still serving fish and chips for £3. That cost me. Can you believe that? I actually gave him a tenner because I think good on you. The reviews of that place are amazing. Serving the community. The guy before me got something like 3 meals, maybe even 4 meals. It came to £12. A place where you can literally still feed the family. That is absolutely ace. Fair play. So I'm back in my hotel. I'm here for a couple of days in Grimsby. Basically, I've just been contacted by someone who works with the dock where I've been walking around today, and apparently it's really private property, and I'm fine to have filmed in the independent businesses. So like the fish smoking place, obviously that's private. They allowed me to film, but not everywhere is allowed. So I'm gonna have to give them a ring and try and hope that I can keep some of the footage that I got from wandering around. I think it's fine because it's mainly just the bits of the actual dock are just me walking around reading bits of the book. So hopefully it's fine. But let me give them a ring anyway. What I've been doing is I'm making a film about the history of Grimsby's fishing. Honestly, I'm happy. I'd much rather bring it down and show you what the aim of the video is. Yeah. So I'm just in central Grimsby. So I'll drive down now and I'll show you the stuff. All right, port office, I'll give you a ring if I need you. Bye.
There are lots of boarded up buildings on the port at the moment because they're part of a conservation zone. So those buildings, about 90 of them, they are all being renovated. So you will see buildings boarded up. That's to protect them. Obviously, my job is to
absolutely.
manage our reputation. And
so
to ask you, why are you doing this?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
going to put the port in the bad light because we all are very protective of the town because it does get put in a bad light, and so we're always nervous. About people.
No, I fully understand that. Yeah.
As to how they're going to interpret things, but no, that's fine. It looks like you're not going to do a dirty.
No, not at all.
Our vision is looking at building new TV and sound stages. So when you do get filmmakers coming to Grimsby, they can also use the studios for filming, post-production, editing. Things have changed. The town has adapted to new economies, and people will look at Grimsby and think the dock is dead, but it isn't. It's so busy.
Yeah.
But by a certain point, everybody's gone. But it is. It's still very vibrant and giving a lot of economy to the town.
No, I think that's so good to hear. And I was really hoping to obviously get some boats coming in, but
no, because I did ring the dock master.
Yeah.
There is one that's coming in now. Cargo ship.
Oh wow. Look at that. That's huge. So what will this, is this one of the fishing vessels still then, or is this
No, this is a general cargo ship.
General cargo?
Yeah.
It is huge. That's so cool. I mean, it doesn't look like it should fit in there, does it? And somehow it does.
You're right, the fishing days of old, they'd be out there for weeks.
Yeah.
Especially if they were going to the deep waters like Barents Sea, Greenland, and the dangers they faced.
Yeah.
You always think, how many men didn't come back and how many families, widows, children were left behind.
So the 1970s was when Grimsby hit its peak for fishing. So a big reason for the decline of Grimsby's fishing was the Cod Wars, which were a series of confrontations between the UK and Iceland. And it was all about fishing rights in the North Atlantic. And there were 3 of these between 1958 to 1976, I believe. And each of these ended with an Icelandic victory. And in 1976, the UK conceded, basically losing access to all the rich fishing waters and ultimately culling thousands and thousands of jobs from places like here in Grimsby. And alongside that came quotas where where trawlers which were going out would have a quota of how much they could literally catch per year. So you might reach that quota really on in the year, and then you've got 6 months left where you literally can't fish because you have got the amount that you are legally allowed, which is nuts. So the whole time whilst I've been filming this video, I keep bumping into people who say life is coming back to the docks. Things are going to return to these big abandoned buildings down by the waterfront. And I randomly met these two guys who were working on a building, and they said come back later once we're finished, because they've opened a recovery and rehab centre in one of these old big fish warehouses, and they've completely transformed the space. So I think that's going to be super interesting to see what's going on. Like, obviously Grimsby does have its problems, no one's denying that, but I think it's going to be really interesting to go and meet these guys who are kind of combating that, using the old fish docks to do that. So let's head down there.
It's been all the people from our recovery community. We had veterans, we've had like people from, well, whoever wants to come down. Now, so this is our community kitchen.
Wow.
We've just built.
Oh, this is amazing.
Yeah, we used to have just seating in here, and the main bit through there was one of our woodworking shops. Everything that we do is driven by the recovery community. So if they say they want something, we'll put it in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what we did, we put the community, Asda Foundation give us 20 grand to this.
Wow.
Screwfix Foundation gives us a load of money for the toilet. Yeah. So anybody is vulnerable, mental health issues, anything, it don't matter.
Yeah.
Because to be fair, most people in recovery, they got mental health issues.
Yeah.
It's all related. So welcome to the loo.
Wow, look at that. Wow, that is a toilet, isn't it? I love it. I absolutely love it.
Obviously the Louvre.
The Louvre.
Based on France of that. But also it's where we keep our toilet art.
Yeah. Toilet art, yeah, love it.
Yeah.
Toilet art in the Louvre.
Over there.
I say, growing up, born and raised in Grimsby, you know its struggles. So it's so nice that I've stumbled across you who's kind of combating that.
Yeah,
and I've been able to, you can still address the problems, but you can do it in a way that's kind of...
And that's it, it's about the message, and unfortunately there is a lot of negative press. There's a lot of negative media attention on Grimsby. It always seems to be, especially for the national level, whenever there's a need to kind of find somewhere deprived, it's often Grimsby they'll turn to.
Yeah.
And it really doesn't set the right message at all. We had it here. We had Sky News come for some of the election coverage, and the first thing I got asked was, "Have you got anybody in the breadline I can interview?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "No, that's not the point. That's not what you're here for. We're not. We're not." And again, when you're talking about addiction, it's a problem that transcends social class. It transcends poverty. It transcends all of that. The idea is more to focus on the entertainment side of it, to do events, to do the evening type stuff, experiences, things people can get involved with, and it connects the public to the recovery community. It's all about breaking down that stigma. Little art studio space. We've got an artist called Terry Clark, but he interacts with our guys brilliantly. It's all that kind of exchange of skills and knowledge and the learning that comes with that. And, right, engine room. So,
this is the podcast studio.
So this is the podcast studio, yeah. So
you've literally got it all in here, haven't you?
we're all right. So we did this to look. This was a group of volunteers. It took them, I think it was about 10 days, done to look like the inside of a trawler.
Love it.
Yeah. So it's copper sheeting all over the walls. It's one of our guys who's been in recovery long term, who's done all the plaster work. So all the plasterwork inside, all this stuff. He's a trained plasterer. Really wanted to try something more creative of what he was doing.
Yeah.
And we got him the materials, and away you go, and it's so the creativity involved. I think I'm always, this is probably my favourite room. I'm always blown away when I come in here because and it will stay like this. The rust and verdigris is real. It's an agent you spray all over the walls, and it creates this effect. We've got Sounds from the Dockside, which is our music focused podcast with people in recovery as well. We're hoping to get one with the fishermen. Because we've been doing some historic Lincolnshire. We've been doing some oral histories work here as well. So there's been some other recording going on, which Martin and people have been involved with. But again, we're well aware there's probably one last generation of people that really remember the fishing industry as it was. And if we don't capture that, we've lost it. And the stories are just brilliant. Like, there's some great stories. That is the truth of it. It's for 100 people that fall into addiction, 3 get out. So it's a horrible, horrible number, that. But we've got a great community. We've got people that are absolutely serious about what they're doing, very, very passionate about what they're doing, and it's life and death. So they take it very seriously.
Yeah.
You know.
So I finally made it onto a fishing vessel in Grimsby, although it was the now purely aesthetic Ross Tiger down the Fishing Heritage Centre, and it was incredible to look round, but I was kind of haunted along the way with the words of that fella that I'd encountered before.
It's a museum now, isn't it?
It's a museum.
Like everything else.
Yeah.
We need work, mate.
Well,
Not museums. I'll get on that now and go fishing.
You'll know from this channel that I am all about preserving British industrial history, yet I can fully resonate with that lad. The fact that we are surrounded by rich fishing waters, the fact that Grimsby is full of boats, and the fact that on those streets there are people that need jobs. And yet we are told we are not allowed to connect those very obvious dots. You should get yourself a tour of this boat. It's incredible. £3 and it is fascinating to see. But I've got to be honest, I am with that lad's sentiment. We need work in this country, not museums. Right, so we're back down here next to the Ross Tiger. What's awesome as well is, like, as you all very well know from watching my videos, they rely entirely on random encounters, me hoping that I get random encounters and then following those leads and seeing where they end up. And this may have been the best one I've ever done, where each thing has just led on to each thing, and I really have been able to delve massively into the search for the lost fishing industry. And yeah, maybe there's not much fishing going on here anymore, but the shore is a heck of a lot of fish still, and obviously the town does have a lot of problems, like loads of places has problems, but I'm so happy that I've been able to come, and on my trip what I stumbled across was just this positivity, a lot of community, interesting stories, still seeing industry, as I say, not ignoring the problems. But yeah, I hoped I'd come and I'd find stuff. And I definitely found stuff, didn't I? And along the way as well, we've been joined by Alf Mays out of Grimsby. And obviously from a different time, his experience at Grimsby will have been crazy. But I've also had a crazy experience today, and I hope you've found that as well. But I just thought I'd finish with this bit, which is Alf's first day when he's going onto the smack. And I thought I'd just read this and finish with this. As he approached the yard, he saw the smack high and dry on the slipway, and the yard a hive of activity. The noise was almost unbearable. Each side of the smack was lined with shipwrights thumping their caulking tools with a final coating of hot pitch to make them watertight. Alf climbed a ladder to the deck. After scanning the faces of the men working on the deck, he went over to an elderly man who looked like a fisherman. Mr. Audie, the man looked up from his kneeling position. Yeah. Ah, you must be young Alf May. I've been expecting you.